Hello and welcome to another exam paper walkthrough. So today I'm looking at GCSE Math and this is an Edexcel predicted topic paper. So this is for the paper 2F, so the foundation tier, and this is what I'm calling a good chance paper. I'll explain a bit more about that in about a minute. So attached to the description to this video, you will find a link where you can download a copy of this from a Google Drive. I'd strongly recommend you've done the paper before watching the video or do it alongside the video. I'd also recommend a bit of music on in the background just to make it a bit more enjoyable. I always record these with some music on. This is for the June 25 series and this has been produced from the topic list that First Class Maths created. If you've not seen their papers or checked out their website, I'd strongly recommend having a good look at their resources. If you find this video useful, please do subscribe and you'll get notified as soon as any of my other papers are produced. So what do I mean by a good chance paper? So essentially, First Class Maths created a 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, and it all goes all the even lower. I've produced their topics from their 5-star and their 4-star into a very likely paper, and these are all their 3-star. So that's why I call it good chance paper. So there's a good chance that they'll be on there. It's not as guaranteed as not guaranteed. It's not as likely as the 5 and the 4-star. That's why we've got a very likely paper and a good chance paper. Okay, let's start. Right, question 1. Neville has 56 clocks. The clocks are only red, only blue, or only black. 32 of the clocks are plastic. 5 out of 14 blue clocks are plastic. 8 out of 12 clocks are not plastic. Use this information to complete the two-way table. Right, so I'm going to put the information that we've got. So 56 is our total for both, so 56 will go there. We've then got 32 of the clocks are plastic. So plastic, we must have a 32 there. Now I could do this bit, but I'm just going to put in the information from the question. 5 of the 14 blue clocks are plastic. So blue clocks, we've got a total of 14. And 5 of them are blue. So, 5 of them are plastic. So put that information in. And then my final step is 8 out of the 12 red clocks are not plastic. So that means that in red, I can put 8 for not plastic and 12 as my total. That's kind of my level 1, just putting in the data from the question. Right, then I'm going to use that data one time to fill in some other value. So I can fill in this value here. So 12 minus 8 would give me 4. I can fill in this value here. 15 minus 5 would be 9. And I can fill in this value here. 56 minus 32 is going to give me 24. And then I can also do this bottom line as well. I can say that 12 plus 14 is 26. And then 56 minus 26 would be 30. Right, everything else relies on a bit of information that I've had to work out. So I kind of view that as my third level. So I'm going to do this one next. 4 plus 5 is going to give me 9. And then 32 minus 9 is going to give me 23. And then that leaves me with my final answer, my final square, which I can do one of two ways. And both should be true if I've got all my data correct so far. So 8 plus 9 would give me 17. And then 24 minus 17, so I'll actually put that sum there. 24 minus 17 is going to give me 7. And then also 30 minus 23 would give me 7. And because I've got that 7 two ways, it gives me a real good likelihood of being fully correct in my table. If I hadn't got 7 both ways, it implies that I've made a mistake somewhere. So two-way tables are quite nice because you've got that confirmation at the end. Question 2. The universal set is the numbers 1 to 13. Set A is multiples of 3. Set B is even numbers. And then complete the Venn diagram to show this information. And this is a 4-mark question. And I find this quite a nice 4-mark question. Essentially, I need to start by labeling my circles. And then I can start putting my values in. So I'm going to kind of go through the list of 13, although there are various ways we could do this. So 1 is neither, 2 is an even, but not a multiple of 3. 3 is a multiple of 3 but not even. 4 is not even, is even. 5 would go outside. 6 would go in the intersection. 7 would go outside. 8 would go here. 9 would go here. 10 would go here. 11 would go here. 12 would go here. And 13 would go here. And you could have done each of the sets separately. I quite like this kind of listing it just because it's kind of going back to the point that I'm also an exam marker, so it makes it really obvious to your examiner. They're not hunting around for the numbers because they're written in list and in size order. And it's always a good idea to make things as easy as you can for your examiner. Question 3, simplify 4c plus 7d plus 3c minus d. So I'm going to underline my c's first of all, including the operator in front of them. So 4c plus 3c is going to give me 7c. And then I kind of circle my next terms, including the operator in front of them. So 7d minus d is going to be 6d. So it's 7c plus 6d. Part B, solve. So I could expand the bracket first of all. That would be an absolutely fine first step. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to divide both sides by 5 and get rid of the 5 coefficient. So that would give me 2m minus 6 is equal to 8. I'm then going to add 6 on both sides. And that's going to give me 2m is equal to 14. I'm then going to divide both sides by 2, sorry. Getting ahead of myself with the answer. So m is going to be equal to 7. So 7. There are x sweets in a box. There are y sweets in a packet. Write an expression in terms of x and y for the total number of sweets in 3 boxes and 2 packets. So we're saying that boxes are the letter x. So it's going to be 3x. And then 2 packets, and y is the number in packets. So plus 2y. Question 4. There are 3 cards in bag A and 2 cards in bag B. There is a letter on each card. We've got E, F, G, J, K. James takes a card from bag A, then a card from bag B. List all the possible outcomes. Okay, so we could have, I'm going to start with all the possibilities starting with E. So we could have E and J. We could have E and K. I'm now going to start with G. I could have G and J or G and K. And then I could start with F and F and J, F and K. So there's my 6 outcomes. Question 5. Write 3% as a fraction. Well, percent is out of 100, so it's just going to be 3 out of 100. And as 3 is a prime number and not a factor of 100, we can't simplify, so it's just 3 out of 100. Question 6. This is part of a bus timetable between Bury and Manchester. Okay. How many minutes does the 8:25 bus take to get from Bury to Manchester? So that's our start time, that's our end time. So 09:05, and we want to go up to take away 08:25. We could do this in a chunking method again. If it was so I'll do the chunking method to start off with. I could add 35 minutes to get to 0900, and then I could add a further 5 minutes to get to 0905. So in total, that's going to be 40 minutes. This is a calculator paper though, so I'm just going to briefly show you the time function on your calculator. So this dot, comma, comma, comma button is actually the time function on our calculators. So we could type in 9 hours and 5 minutes and take away from that 8 hours. Take away from that 8 hours and 25 minutes. And then we get 0 hours, 40 minutes, 0 seconds. So 40 minutes. That's useful tool on your calculator. Right, Lucius goes from Whitefield to Manchester by bus. Lucius takes 17 minutes to get from his house to the bus stop. In Whitefield, he takes 15 minutes to get from the bus stop in Manchester to work. Lucius has to get to work by 10 a.m. He leaves his house at 8:45 a.m. Does he get to work by 10 a.m.? So let's keep track of what we're actually trying to do. So we want to do his start time of 8:45, and then it takes him 17 minutes to get to the bus stop. So he's going to get to the bus stop at 9:02. That means that the earliest bus he can catch is the 9:15 bus. Sorry, am I doing the right place? I've picked the wrong place there. So he can get on so this is the stop that he's going to. So he can get on this bus, the 9:04. And then that bus arrives at Manchester at 09:35. And then it takes him 15 minutes to walk. So 15, so that's going to take us to 09:50. So does he get to work by 10 a.m? Yes, he does. Yes, and I'll state he will be at work at 09:50. Question 7. Write the value of the 4 in the number 542.3. So it's going to be 40. We can write it in numbers, or you can write it in words. You could argue 4 tens as well. Question 8. Simplify. So to simplify this, we're going to combine the number part. So 2 times 3 would be 6. And then C times D is CD. Second part, t is equal to x plus 2y, x is equal to 3, and y is equal to minus 4. Work out the value of t. So substitution, t is going to be equal to x, which is 3, plus 2 times by, and I always like to put my negatives when I'm substituting into a bracket. So that's going to give us 3 plus 2 times minus 4 is actually minus 8. And then 3 minus 8 is going to be equal to minus 5. So t is equal to minus 5. Question 9. ABC is a straight line. Work out the size of the angle marked with the x. So angles in a straight line need to add up to 180. So I'm going to do 180 minus 150. And that's going to be equal to 30. So 30. Give a reason for your answer. So I've said it, but angles in a straight line. Angles in a straight line equal 180 degrees. The diagram below is wrong. Explain why. So at first glance, we've got a right angle and 380. So 280. So angles in a straight line, angles around a point need to add up to 360. So does 90 plus 280 equal that? Well, 90 plus 280 is actually going to be 370. So I'm going to write here, it should equal. So I'm going to write angles at a point equal. angles at a point equal 360 degrees. Question 10. Peter is going to buy 15 rolls of wallpaper. Here is some information about the cost of rolls of wallpaper from each of two shops. So Chic Decor, 3 rolls for £36, and then Stylish Papers, a pack of 5 rolls, normally £70, but 12% off the normal price. Peter wants to buy 15 rolls as cheaply as possible. Should he buy from which shop? You must show how you got your answer. Right, so if I want 15 rolls, let's make this clear. So I'm going to start by working out the price for Cheap Decor. So I'm going to call that CD. So and I'm going to do 15 divided by 3 times by 36. So let's use the calculator. It's calculator paper, so use it where it's helpful. Times by 36 is going to be equal to £180. Now, if I do the same for Stylish Papers over here, so SP for Stylish Papers, packs of £5 normally £70. So we're going to do the 15 that we want divided by 5, so we can get that times by 70, and then 12% off the normal price means that I've got 100% minus 12% is going to be equal to 88%. And if I want to work out that, the multiplier for that would be 0.88. So I'm just going to times by 0.88. Right, so 15 over 5, which would give us 3, times by 70, which would give us 210, times by 0.88, gives us, as a decimal, £184.80. So £184.80, that was 80. So should Peter buy from, so I'm going to answer it, make sure you answer the question. Should Peter buy wallpaper from? So Peter should buy from Chic Decor, and I'll finish with as £180 is less than £184.80. Question 11. Write 19.4949 correct to the nearest whole number. So to the nearest whole number, so I'm rounding to that figure here. The number behind it is a 4. It doesn't matter that that's the only digit that dictates what we round it to. So that's going to be just 19. Question 12. The diagram shows a triangle ABC, so ABC. ACD and BCE are straight lines. Work out the size of the angle marked with the X. So the angle marked with the X here is going to be equal to this angle here. So I'm going to start by working out what that angle there would be. I'm going to call it X for now, though, but I will include my reasons shortly. So X is going to be equal to 180 minus the two known angles, 106 plus 25, which is going to be equal to, and again, we'll use the calculator. I'm sure we could work it out without, but it's on a calculator paper, it's always best. So 39 degrees. And then the reason for that, I'm going to include here. So angles in a triangle equal 180 degrees. And then my second step then is to state that ACB is equal to CD, sorry. And the reason for that is they're vertically opposite. Angles are equal. So 39 degrees. Question 13. Albus has information about the height in centimetres and the weight in kilograms of each of 10 rugby players. He is asked to draw a scatter graph and a line of best fit for this information. Here is his answer. Albus has plotted the points accurately. Write down 2 things that are wrong with his answer. Okay, so the first one that I'm going to mention is the line of best fit is just not correct. So the line of best fit is incorrect. Line of best fit is not correct. Reasons does not need to pass through the origin, we could state, but I think line of best fit is not correct would be absolutely fine. But I'll put that does not need to origin. Right, the second one is less obvious. If we look at the scales, we could argue neither of these start from 0 and they don't have that kind of lightning bolt to indicate that some steps have been missed out. But if we look 85, 90, 95, 100, 105, that's okay. But here, 140, 160, gap of 20. The rest have got gaps of 10s. So the scale on the heights is incorrect. Is wrong. (140 to 160 equals 20). Actually, I'll write that the other way around because I meant 2, but I've written it as a subtraction. So 160 minus 140 is 20, but I'll put 170 minus 160 is equal to 10. Question 14. You can use this graph to change between ounces and grams. So we've got ounces on our x-axis, grams on our y-axis. Change 850 grams to ounces. So 850 is here. I'm going to go across till I meet my graph, and then I'm going to go down. So let's see if I can draw this semi-straight. Okay. So that's slightly out. So we're going to go 30. Part B, change 80 ounces to grams. So our graph doesn't go up to 80 ounces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a multiple of 80. It'd be nice if that went up to 40, but I'm going to use 20 as for this. So if I read off the value for 20, so again, if we go up to our graph and then go across, so I'm going to say that 20 ounces then is equal to if that's 500 and 600, that's going to be 550, 560. So 560 grams. So 80 ounces is going to be 4 times that. So from there to there times by 4. The same here, times by 4. We could double it twice, but we'll just use our calculator. So we're looking at 2,240. And if you're slightly out by that's absolutely fine. So out by a couple, I mean. Question 15. Simplify c to the power 5 divided by c to the power 2. So our rule here is we subtract the powers, so that's going to become c to the 5 minus 2, which is going to be c to the power 3. Our rule here is that we multiply the powers if we've got them in brackets like that. So that's going to be d to the power 12. Question 16. Tonks uses a code to open a lock. The code is a letter followed by a 2-digit number. The letter is L or U. The number is a prime number between 20 and 30. Write down the possibilities. Right, so I'm going to start by listing the prime numbers. We're going to have 21, 3. We're going to have 23 and 24, 25, 26, 27. 28, 29. So we've only got two options there, 23 or 29. So we could have an L and a 23, an L and a 29, a U and a 23, or a U and a 29. So A, B, and C are 3 points on a map. 1 centimeter represents 100 meters. Point T is 250 meters from point A. Point T is an equidistance from B and C. On a map, show the possible positions for T. Okay, to help me out here, I'm going to just bring this into a different platform. Okay, so I'm going to try and show this. My scale is going to be slightly out because obviously I'm doing this on the screen, so I haven't got the exact measurements. The first thing I'm going to do is hopefully put a ruler in. I'll come back to the 100 and 250 meters from point A. T is an equidistance from point B and C. So B and C. So I want to do a perpendicular I want to do a bisector of this angle. So we're going to take our ruler and we're going to try and put in a straight line between these points. So that'll look slightly different. Well, that yours will look like line from there to there, and I also want a line from there to there. Ooh. Right, so I want to do a bisector of that angle. The way I'm going to do that is with a compass. This isn't going to show it particularly well, but what I really want to do is insert a circle. So I'll move this around in a second. Okay, in effect, you're going to do compass arcs, and we're going to have an arc here. So, point of your compass goes on the center of A, and then you're going to use it to arc. And really, the bits that we need are this arc here and then this arc here. Then I'm going to do a similar thing. I'm going to move my compass, and now I'm going to put the compass point on this arc line here. And then I'm going to arc into the center, which would be, for you, will look kind of like that. And then I'll do the same from this point here. So my compass point's going to go where that arc line is. So it's looking kind of like that. So I've not drawn my arc particularly well. And then where these two arc lines cross in the center, let me just put that back. Then that arc line a tiny bit. That's going to become my bisector of the angle. So again, I just want to put a line in to represent that. And what I'm going to do is change that colour just to show that that's actually the line that I'm after. So let's change that to red and slightly thicker. And then the second thing on the map, point T is 250 meters from point A. So that red line is that point T is an equal distance from B and C. The other part, point T is 250 meters from point A. So we're using this scale. So if I had 250 here, that would be 2.5 centimeters. So I also need to draw a 2.5 centimeter from point A. So I'm going to make my circle slightly bigger, although I'm not quite sure of the scale that yours would be. And then I'm going to do an arc all the way through, and then take my compass off, and then so that's going to be where point T will be. So let's change that to red, just so that's going to be where T would be roughly. Obviously your scale is going to be different to that slightly, because you should have a physical paper rather than an online version. So question 18, simplify. So I'm going to start by saying that where we've got powers like this, we multiply the powers. So that's going to become m to the power 6. For this one, our rule is that we add the powers, so that's going to become x to the 5 plus 8, which is going to become x to the 13. And then for this one, we're going to multiply it out. So 4p times by p squared would give us 4p cubed. And then 4p times 3p is going to give us plus 12p squared. Question 19. Dolores buys a pack of 12 water bottles. The pack costs £5.64. Dolores sells all 12 bottles for 50 pence each. Work out Dolores's percentage profit, giving your answer to one decimal place. I'm going to say then that 12 times by 0.5 will give me the total amount that she's made. If I divide that by the original amount and then times that by 100, that will give me my percentage, and it's going to be over 100%, but the over 100% will be our profit. So 12 times by 0.5 over 5.64, and then we will put the times 100. So that's going to give us 106.38. It does say to one decimal place. I would tend to write it as 106.3829 dot dot dots to show that we haven't rounded, and that would be a full percent. So our actual percentage is going to be 6.4. Okay, question 20. Question 20. Here is a list of numbers. From the numbers in the list, write down a square number. So we don't need a calculator for this. So square number is 25, the one that's jumping out at me. Because 5 times 5 is 25. From the number in the list, write down a number that is a multiple of both 4 and 6. Well, 4 times 6 is 24, so 24 would be a multiple of them both. Part C, write down all the prime numbers in the list. So I'm going to go down the list then. I'll change pen for this. So prime numbers other than 2 can't be even. We've already said that that's a cube number. If we look at the multiples of, that's 7 times 3, that is 3 times 9. So we're just left with 23 and 29. Question 21. Here is the shoe size of 12 boys in a class. Find the median. So we are in size order, which is quite nice. So to find the median, we could top and tail them. I tend to say that the median will be in the position of 12 plus 1 divided by 2. So I'm actually looking for the 6th and 7th value. So the 6th value, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is a 7, and the 7th value is also a 7. So our median is going to be 7. Work out the range. So the range is going to be the largest minus the smallest. So 9 minus 4, which would give us 5. For the shoe sizes of each of the 12 girls in the class, the median size is 6 and the range is 3. Compare the distribution of the shoe sizes of the boys with the distribution of the shoe sizes for the girls. So I'm going to compare two things. I'm going to compare the median. So which way around you say this? Compare the size of boys to the size of the girls. It doesn't really matter. I like to follow this pattern though, so I'll compare boys to girls. So boys have a larger median. A larger median. And then if I've got room, I always like to say, so 7 versus 6. And then my second comparison is going to be the range. So boys have a smaller range than girls. Sorry, boys have a larger range than girls. And again, I'm going to say 5 versus 3. Question 22. The size of the largest angle in a triangle is 4 times the size of the smallest angle. The other angle is 27 less than the largest angle. Work out in degrees the size of each angle in the triangle. Okay, so I'm going to call it angle 1, 2, and 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to say that we'll do the largest first of all. Actually, we won't. We'll do this. The size of the largest angle in the triangle is 4 times the size of the smallest. So actually, if I call the smallest x and the largest then would be 4x. The other angle is 27 less than the largest angle. So that would be 4x minus 27. Right, and that needs to add up to 180 because angles in a triangle add up to 180. So I'm going to say then that 9x minus 27 is equal to 180. So 9x is going to be equal to 207. So x is going to be equal to 23. And to do that in my head, what I did was 180 divided by 9 would be 20. And then 27 divided by 9 would be 3, so it's going to be 23. I can do it on our calculator though. I'm going to use it for the other part anyway. So let's just check each of those steps. So 108 plus 27 is equal to 207. And then if we divide that by 9, that is 23. So our smallest one is going to be 23. Then I want to times it by 4, so I can double it twice. That would be 46. 92 times by 4 is 92. And then my middle one is going to be that, take away 27. So 65. Again, we can just check that that adds up to 180. Yeah. Okay, 23, solve 2x squared is equal to 72. Right, so I'm going to start by dividing both sides by 2. So that would give me x squared is equal to 36. Then I'm going to square root both sides, so x is going to be equal to technically plus or minus 6. Because minus 6 squared will also be equal to 36. So I'm going to put that as my answer, plus or minus 6. And I could have done them separately. Part B, expand and simplify. So I'm going to expand first of all. So 2x times 3x will give us 6x squared. 2x times by minus 2 will give us minus 4x. 1 times 3x will give us 3x. And then 1 times minus 2 would give us minus 2. I'm then going to simplify. So the middle terms can be simplified. So that's just going to give us 6x squared. Minus 4 plus 3 is minus 1, or minus x, minus 2. And then our final one is a factorize. So I can spot this one, but we'll talk it through anyway. So both brackets are going to start with an x. And then I'm after two numbers that multiply together to make the back term, so 9, and that add together to make the middle term, 6. And both of them are going to be positive. So we're just looking at 3 and 3. So x plus 3, x plus 3. So I'm going to actually write it as x plus 3 squared. Question 24. The length of a football pitch is 90 metres, correct to the nearest metre. Complete the error interval for the football pitch. So it's 90 metres as opposed to 89 or 91. So the smallest value we're going to say is 89.5. The largest value we're going to say is 90.5. Technically, this one will be rounded up, so we're going to use the inequality symbol here of less than. So it's already there for us, though. 90.5 there and 89.5 there. Okay, question 25. A is in the shape of a quarter circle of radius 15. B is in the shape of a circle. The area of A is 9 times the area of B. Show that the radius of B is 2.5 centimeters. So these aren't similar shapes, so we can't use a scale factor. Well, arguably we could, but we won't. Right, so if I work out, first of all, the area of shape A, so it's a quarter circle, so the area is going to be equal to pi r squared divided by 4, because we've got the quarter. So that's going to be pi times by 15 squared divided by 4. And I'm going to leave my answer in terms of pi. So shift pi times 15 squared. Put it over that, but so I'm looking at 225 over 4 pi. Right, the area of this one, if we call this x for now, so that would be the area of that would be equal to pi times x squared. And we're saying that this area is 9 times the area, so what we want to do is divide this by 9. So if I do that as a separate sum in the middle, I'll do that in red. So 225 over 4 pi, we want to divide that by 9. So that's going to become 325 over 36 pi. And we'll just double check that. Where did I get 325? 225 over 36. So what I've done there is times by 9 on the denominator. So divide by 9. We'll cancel down then. So that's 25 over 4 pi. So we cancelled down. So now I'll switch back to blue. So we're saying that 25 over 4 pi is equal to pi times x squared. So we can cancel pi's. So we just want the square root of 25 over 4 is equal to x. Square root of 25 is 5. Square root of 4 is 2. Again, we don't want the negative version of that, and we can't really have it because we can't have a negative length. So x is 5 over 2, which is equal to 2.5. So 2.5 is equal to x. Question 26. ABC is a right angle triangle. Calculate the length of AB. So we want this length here. Give your answer correct to 2 decimal places. So right angle triangle where we've got 2 sides at an angle in relation is going to be trig. So first thing I'm going to do is label the 2 sides I'm working with. This side would be the hypotenuse, and if this is the angle, this side would be the opposite. That tells us then that I'm using the sine ratio, SOH. And it's the O that I'm trying to work out, so the opposite is going to actually be sine times by H. So that means that x then is going to be equal to the sine of 38 times by 16. So sine of 38, just double check, yeah, times by 16. So that's going to be 9.85058 dot dot dot. So I've not rounded, and I'm rounding to this point here, so 9.85. Question 27. Solve 14n is greater than 11n plus 6. So I'm going to minus 11n from both sides. To start with, that would give me 14 minus 11 is 3n, has to be greater than 6. We divide both sides by 3 now. That would be n has to be greater than 2. On the number line below, show the set of values for which minus 2 is less than x plus 3 is less than 4. So we'll solve that first of all down here. So I'm going to minus 3 from all 3 parts. So that would give us minus 5 is less than x, which is less than or equal to 1. So minus 5, I need an open circle. And my other circle will be a 1, but that one's going to be shaded in because it can be equal to that. And then I just want to draw a line joining them together. There we go. Question 28. Make A the subject of this formula. So this is the term that we want to be the subject. So we want to get it isolated, get it by itself. So our first step is to add 9 to get rid of the 9 here. So that would be P plus 9. P plus 9 is equal to 3A. Then we divide both sides by 3. So that's P plus 9 divided by 3 is equal to A. So on my answer line though, I'll go A is equal to P plus 9 divided by 3. Okay, question 29 then. Here is the triangular prism. Work out the volume of the prism, giving your answer correct to 3 significant figures. So the volume of any prism is going to be the cross-section area times by the length. So if we call that the length. And we've got a triangle, so we're looking at half of the base, which we haven't got, so we'll call that B. So we're going to have to work that out first of all, times by the height, which is 7.4. Right, so let's start with that then. So I'm going to say then that B squared is going to be equal to 8.4 squared minus 7.2 squared. So 8.4 squared minus 7.2 squared. So that's going to give me 468 over 25. Right. So the square root of the answer then is going to be, it's absolutely fine to go decimal. I'm going to leave it in third form though, just for a moment. Right. So the area is going to be equal to a half of the base, which I'm going to call B for now, times by 7.2 times by 18. So that's going to be 9. Half of 18 is 9. We can do that half at any point. So I'm going to say if we do 9 times by our last answer times by 7.2, that'll give us our area. So we're looking at 280.3676 dot dot dot. No rounding yet. 3 significant figures. That's our third significant figure. So we're going to go 280 centimeters cubed. Question 30. A gold bar has a mass of 12.5 kilograms. Density of gold is 19.3 grams per centimeter squared. Work out the volume of the gold bar. Give your answer correct to 3 significant figures. Right, so we've got a mixture of units here. We've got kilograms here and grams here. So the easiest by far is to convert this into grams. 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. So 12.5 kilograms is going to be equal to 12,500 grams. And then density is equal to mass divided by volume. So volume is going to be equal to mass divided by density. So the volume here is going to be equal to 12,500 divided by 19.3. So let's do this all from scratch. So even though I've done that multiplication, it's a good idea just to double check it. Divided by 19.3. So we're going for a volume of 647.668 dot dot dot. So again, 3 significant figures. That's going to be 648 centimeters cubed. Right, question 31. So Hermione's house has a value of 160,000. Correct, 2 significant figures. Write down the least value of the house, and part two, write down the greatest possible value of the house. Right, so it's been rounded to this point here. So it's been rounded to 660,000 as opposed to 150,000 or 170,000. So the smallest value would be 155,000 and the greatest value would be 165,000. Although technically that would be rounded up. So we will go. So I will be a bit strict here. The least possible value is going to be 155,000. And then the largest is going to be, you could get away with 165,000. That would be absolutely fine. But I'm going to say 164,999.9 reoccurring. Right, second part. The value of Ron's house increases by 5%. His house then had a value of 210,000. Work out the value of Ron's house before the increase. So for this, then we're going to say that the original value times by 5% increase is a multiplier of 1.05. So times by 1.05 is equal to 210,000. So the original value must be equal to 210,000 divided by 1.05, which is going to be equal to 210,000 times by 1.05, and no, not times by, divide by So we're looking at 200,000. Right, question 23. Write 37 centimeters cubed in millimeters cubed. Right, so I'm going to start by saying that 1 centimeter cubed then is actually equal to 1 centimeter times 1 centimeter times 1 centimeter. So if I convert each of those, that would be 10 times 10 times 10 millimeters cubed. So that would be equal to 1,000 millimeters cubed. So 37 centimeters cubed is going to be equal to 37,000 centimeters cubed, millimeters cubed. So 37,000. Right, I need to sort that editing out. Victor has two fair three-sided spinners. Victor spins each spinner once. Complete the probability tree diagram. So it lands on a 2, does not land on a 2, lands on a 2, does not land. Okay. So the probability of spinner A landing on a 2 is 1 out of 3. So the probability of spinner A not landing on a 2 is 2 out of 3. And the second one is an identical spinner, so 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3, 1 out of 3, and 2 out of 3. Right, let's check the follow-up question. Work out the probability that spinner A lands on 2 and spinner B does not land on a 2. So spinner A, 2, spinner B, not 2. So that's that branch there. So that's going to be 1 over 3 times by 2 over 3, which is going to be just 2 over 9. Question 34. Here's a right angle triangle. This shaded shape below is made from two of these triangles. Work out the perimeter of the shaded shape. Okay, so we need to work out this length here. And I'll put that that's 10 there. We need to work out this length here. Right, so first of all, we're going to talk about x. So x squared is going to be equal to 8 squared plus 10 squared. So 8 squared plus 10 squared is going to give us 164. The square root of that is going to give us, I'm going to leave it like that for the moment, just because I really hate rounding wherever I can avoid it. That would be x, sorry. Right, so y is going to be equal to x minus 10. So the way I'm going to do it then, I want these three known angles. So that's going to be, so the perimeter is going to be equal to 8 plus 8 plus 10 plus x plus y. So plus x plus y. So that's going to be equal to 1626 plus, well, y is x minus 10. So it's going to be 2x minus 10. So in total, that's going to be 16 plus 2 lots of x. And then we've got x here. So that's going to become 16 plus 2 times by our last answer. So that's technically going to be 16 plus 4 root 41. And then as a decimal, then that's going to be equal to 41.6124 dot dot dot. So it's three significant figures. We round into that point there. So that's going to be 41.6 units there. Right, find the reciprocal of 1.6. So I'll show you kind of how to do it unless you know the reciprocal button on your calculator. So 1.6 is the same as 1.6 over 1. So the reciprocal of it is going to be equal to, so also reciprocal is going to be equal to 1 over 1.6, which is the same as 10 over 16. So we could say that that is 5 over 8. And I'm sure that would be absolutely fine as our answer. Give your answer as a decimal. So we could do 5 divided by 8 on our calculator. So 5 divided by 8 is equal to 0.625. If you're happy with the reciprocal button on your calculator, or we've actually got this reciprocal button here. So I'm going to type in 1.6 and then reciprocal. That's the reciprocal button there. And that's going to equal 5 over 8, which is 0.625. Okay, Harry rounds a number x to 1 decimal place. The result is 9.8. Write down the error interval. So if we've gone to 9.8 to 1 decimal place, so we've covered this quite a bit. So it's instead of 9.7 or 9.9. So the minimum value is going to be 9.65, and then the maximum value is going to be 9.7. Should have been 7.5, not 6.5. 9.75, and the maximum value is going to be 9.85. So to write that with the error interval, we put an x in the middle. We do 9.75 here, and we do 9.85 here, and then we include symbols like that. No, wrong way around. So that's saying that technically 9.85 would be rounded up, so that's our completed error interval. Okay, and that brings us to the end of the paper. Before I sign it off, I'll talk you through so the topics for this question, for this paper. So this was, like I said before, produced from first class maths topic lists. I've then kind of gone and found these questions. I've tried to test quite a variety of each skill. The max mark for the paper was actually 108, I believe. That's because we've got a lot of part A's, part B's, part C's, that kind of thing. But the rough grade boundaries for this paper is for a 5, you're looking at about 73 based on past students. For a 4, about 55, and so on. Just to give you a bit of an idea, and if you particularly struggled with a question, that gives you the topic. I might not chapter index this video just because I've got quite a lot to get through. Obviously, I haven't done the very likely paper for this, so we'll see how that goes. But if you're after a particular question, those are the topic lists for those. Thank you very much for taking the time and watching the video. I hope you found it useful. I would please do subscribe if you have found it useful. Please add any comments, questions, or feedback. I'll get back to you fairly quickly. And if you've subscribed, you'll get notifications when my other paper 2s come out, or and alternatively when my paper 3s come out. Hope the rest of your revision goes well, and I will see you soon.